Hello, how you doing today? Painter in residence here. I'm Francis McCarthy. We want to talk, Easel Talk 13, lucky 13. I can't, there's 10 plus 3. But I have a pretty good talk for you today. It's Sunday here. I a bit wiped out. I did some yard work this morning, but we'll see what I can do. We'll see if I can impart some painting wisdom your way. Now, the topic of today's talk is 10 keys to successful landscape painting. What to watch out for. Now, I decided to couch this in positive terms. It's based on a chapter from my book, and the name of the chapter in my book is How to Fail at Landscape Painting, just so you know. These are 10 ways that you can... the keys to successful landscape painting are to do none of these things, okay? And it's a bit of learning in the negative, which is, good. We try to impart a lot of positive ideas and learning, but, I've been looking into Buddhism a bit lately, mostly mindfulness, meditation, and things like that. And I will say that 90% of what he had to say about like enlightenment or most spiritual ideas were couched in negative terms. Don't do this, don't do that. And that's what we're going to do today, okay? Painting is not easy. I know, I'm famous for saying that, but it's a challenge well worth pursuing. I every now and again, not yeah, Mike, you do a lot for your channel. I do a lot for my channel, but I don't do a lot of like make your YouTube channel grow type stuff. I basically just show up and do my teaching, and I think that's for the best. I'm gonna try and get over a little bit. There we go. Okay. The YouTube gurus always say make it look really easy, and that's how you grow your channel. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in giving you the straight skinny on painting, which is it's accomplishable. You don't even need to be massively high IQ or anything like that. But you do need to work at it. It's not easy to do. Yeah. So the purpose of today's video is to give you 10 things to watch out for, things to avoid with your paintings so that you can improve them right off the bat, okay? Now, I've made all of these mistakes way more times than I care to enumerate. Sometimes I even still make them. Now, we don't have our coffee today. It's the afternoon. I've got some water. This is my teacup. I know it's pretty manky looking, but this is an actual antique cup. I think it's Wedgwood. Yes, Wedgwood. And that's from the 20s. Very nice. I know it's got paint on it, and I don't really clean it. You don't want to clean your studio cup. That's bad luck. Don't do it. Okay. Number 1. Key. Master composition. This is the most popular way to fail. I've been saying it forever. It's not easy to teach. I try. I do recommend getting Edgar Payne's book, Composition and Landscape Painting. There's a review on the channel. The Substack Studio Pass, maybe I'll try and put a link to that review I did. I'll try. I'm trying to, that's a great place for putting anything you want to, to add to the overall learning there. It's really a process of removing things, composition, more so than adding, After you have your basic structure, like if you're going through the landscape, you're taking a photo, or you're doing some drawing, or you're out working in plein air, you see a mass of trees, a copse of trees, and you go, I think that's got something, a little path, a little, some clouds and things. Yeah, you're good to go, yeah. But to make a successful painting out of any scene is really more what you leave out than what you put in. So try different. It's very cryptic. I said, don't give me too much text. I said to my assistant, I don't want to read to the people. I want to talk to the people. I just need a prompting. But this was so cryptic, I was like, what the hell? Yeah, so basically the learning path. You want to try out different things. Like First of all, all the masters had it down. Not every master's compositions are masterful in every case, but for the most part, the reason they're masters is because their composition is great. So you can definitely study the masters and take things from them. I still do all the time. But try things out, and if you spot it isn't working, then move on to another approach. That's the best way to learn composition. And everybody's different. One of the reasons it's very hard to teach is because there's a lot of different variables involved with any composition. I'm not going to make this whole talk about composition of that. We have a talk on composition, and check that out. Yeah, here's some potential solutions for you though. Little thumbnails. That was in that last composition talk, so I won't harp on it. That's a small schematic of your painting, and try and work things out in advance. It gives you the overview, and composition is about overview. It's really about looking at the big picture of your painting and making sure everything's working and functioning. Yeah. Large forms and shapes need to be offset against each other to create logical patterns and designs. Okay, that's it for number 1. This is number 2. Get your color right. Get your color right. And you go, yes, Mike, let's talk about color. I'm going to have some really good talks about color coming up, because I know color is really one of the people who start out with their painting. It's the thing they're really wrangling with, but it's also the thing that painting offers that drawing doesn't. And for that reason, it's attractive and also very powerful. Sorry, no hat today. You get an old bald head, Mike. Hope you like the look. It's just a little warm. I'm still a bit warm from all that yard work. Get your color right. How's your color going wrong? Well, is it too bright? Is it too saturated? Meaning that you're just painting colors as bright as and saturated as it coming out of the tube. You've got to adulterate things. We talk about that on the channel all the time. Is your color too dark? That could be your problem. Are your colors muddy? This is one of the worst sins, and the amateur sin, and one of the reasons why a lot of painting teachers don't give their students black, because black is if you don't use it right, it's very easy to use it to muddy things. And you do want your color dirty, you do want your color muddy, but strategically. It's just slightly dirty, slightly muddy, not massively. Yeah. Also chalky color. Boy, that's going to be a whole talk of its own. We're just going to keep going because we got 10 of these to get through. So this is the big overview video. All of these things will be addressed pretty much on their own in different Easel Talks. I don't know what that is. I think that's a bird. Yeah, banging on the wall, trying to get a bug. It's spring here, but spring hit about a month ago. Yeah. Number 3. Understand color combinations. This goes hand in hand with bad color, and it deserves its own call out. Some things just don't go together, okay? And a really good example of this is oversaturated greens with really banal blue, for example. You go, well, but the sky's blue and the landscape's green. Yes, but you need to definitely know how these color combinations have got to be tied together. Yeah. Here's a big tip. You can definitely lift good color combinations from the paintings of masters and apply that to your own scenes. I do that all the time, to the degree where there's only so many different things you can do. One of the main things that I like to do is make sure always to inject. I'm sure we might get there. We'll definitely get there in another talk. But if we don't get there in this talk, always inject a lot of reds into the greens in your landscape. Don't let those greens. First of all, another really poor color combination is green on green on green. You've got to always work with the greens, modulate your greens, get the reds in there, cram a lot of red in there, orange in there, yeah, lesser degree, your blue, your things like that. Gray sometimes can be very strategic, yeah. Over time, this will sensitize you to what work, and you'll get better. Mm-hmm. Number 4, you want to develop confident brushwork. Last video on the channel, I haven't seen how it looked like it was doing okay. I don't like to focus too much on how videos are doing. I just like to put the information out there. But I think it's doing okay. Sometimes, usually I'll look, see how one of these talks did when I'm coming in with the next talk. Your mileage may vary if you're a YouTuber, but I think it's important to not get too hung up on. I don't want to pander to you. I don't want to, you like this, I'm going to do this and get more views. Yeah, I'm not into that. Okay. So the last talk, though, is all about brushwork. But insipid brushwork, lots of gazillions of tiny little strokes, every stroke the same direction. These are all definitely ways to fail. Often you can get away with your brushwork not being absolutely phenomenal, though, especially if your composition's good, your color's good. If your composition is poor and your color is poor, your virtuoso brushwork will not save your painting. But really good brushwork can definitely help with your painting. Yeah, okay. Find a few different ways to use the brush. Oh, let's get a brush in our hand. Because, I like to wave it around. Okay. Yeah, so you want to develop confident brushwork. A whole lot of talks about that. Try using the whole length of the handle. Don't hold it like a pencil all the time. Some of the times, okay. You have all these different aspects of the brush you can use. You can use the corner, you can use the toe, you can use the flat bit. There's a lot you can do, and experiment. Yeah. Experiment, mostly changing your angle. Don't be overly all this is to say, don't be overly self-conscious about your brushwork. I'm not trying to get you I'm not trying to get you to do that. What I'm trying to do is have an awareness of it. It's a factor. It's one of these. We're on 4 here, so that was 4. We're on 4. Here's a tip. Watch out for that brushwork that catches the light, especially in the sky. Yeah, it's really sad. If the color looks right, the clouds look good, but then later on you're walking by the painting from a different angle than you painted it, and you can see all the light is catching your brush strokes in a very unattractive way. And this will function just like it was light paint that was put on there, So have an awareness of that too. But definitely with brushwork, it's a process. Just work at it a bit here and there. Don't get yourself all seized up and tight. We don't want that. Key number 5. Respect drawing fundamentals. I can't tell you how many. I've been here a long time now, 15 years. I've had people walking in here. I can't draw, but I can paint. Yeah, all right, whatever. I know what your paintings look like. They look like crap, right? I'm not saying that you have to be an expert at drawing to make good paintings. You need to have the fundamentals down, though. And time spent with a piece of charcoal or a pencil or a graphite working things out is time well spent. Yeah. Drawing is very simple. People make it very complicated, but at its core, it's measuring, it's relationships. It's this big, it's this wide, it's this dark. That's values, that's another talk. Yeah. But mostly knowing how to work things out in correct scale and proportion to each other is one of the fundamental keys to harmonious painting. There's no question about it. So don't think that, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit, because there are times where I'm not saying that you need to get into this draftsmanship mindset where everything is meticulously worked out. In fact, that's my background. I did a lot of drawing and illustrating and meticulously working things out. But these days with my underpainting, I like to leave things a bit open, knowing that I can just come in with patches of color to start to get things sorted. And this is the difference really between a rendering approach and a mass drawing approach. What you want is the mass drawing approach, okay? Where you're getting things in the right shape, right proportion, the scale is good, and then you can let the painting do the rest, okay? Yeah, if you haven't mastered drawing, take up a regular daily practice. You know, a little half hour here, half hour there. What's great is all you need is a piece of paper and a pencil. You can draw the cup on the table, you could draw your partner, you could copy a photo out of a magazine, you could make a drawing based on a master. There's a lot of different things you can do. Ultimately, it's about getting the eye and the hand working together. And you don't need a bunch of paint to do that. You really just need to do it. Yeah, charcoal's good though, especially if you're drawing towards with an eye towards landscape painting. Definitely think in terms of mass drawing, and mass drawing, I believe, is another chapter in the book. So we'll keep going. 6. I'm not gonna. 6. Know when to stop. Avoid overworking. How do you do it? Well, if the painting is overworked, there's really only 2 solutions. If the painting's wet, you can scrape it all off. And this is Whistler, by the way. I don't know, many people don't know that he worked alla prima. He would have his whole rows of color all pre-mixed. The model would come, and he would do the whole thing in one session fresh. And if he didn't like it, he scraped it off. He did have a ghost image on that canvas, though, which is very interesting, very interesting to study Whistler. He was a fascinating painter. That's not me necessarily, but what I will say is if it's gotten overworked, it's getting overwrought, and it's wet, scrape it off and then come back another day. If it's overworked and dry, just put it away. Maybe you can come back another time, fix it up. It's hard to fix something that's overworked, though. It really is. It's way better to stop. Look, you'll find yourself. I do this in a lot of different videos where if you watch me, I'm hovering, thinking of what I want to do next. That's a clue. You need to stop. It's time to stop. Time to let it go. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, or most likely let it dry, scrape it off, cover it with some layer of oil paint, make a fresh painting on top of it. That's a great plan. And what can be really cool there is you get some interesting textures and things going on. That can be really neat. There was I hardly get into reworking stuff now, but for years that would be a big part of my process. Yeah. Okay, we're moving on. 7. Finish what you start, son. Finish what you start.
Did you know you could buy the book landscapepainter.co.nz? The book cost $65 US. Did you know?
Do a little underpainting. Put in the sky, put in the trees, put in the ground plane. Finish it. If it's bad, throw it away. Okay? Oh man, I forgot to put my little recorder on. Sorry, this is straight to camera today. Yeah, sorry about that. I've got an appointment tomorrow morning, and that would be the time I'd normally do this. So I think this audio is pretty quiet here. I think we'll be okay. Sorry about that, though. I have been working on. That's really critical because here I'm talking to you. I'm enunciating clearly. The little Zoom recorder is great because a lot of times when I'm in the middle of painting, I'm just muttering. But some of those mutters can be pretty interesting, pretty good teaching. Yeah. Okay. Now, by finishing what you start, I don't mean overworking things. You want to leave some areas, you can leave some areas of the painting a little unfinished. And look at Frank Frazetta for that. Look at the corners. I don't know if you've ever seen that painting, Moon Maiden. It's a genius painting. It's a female figure riding a centaur with the moon in the back and a beautiful mountain. But if you look at the corners, it's like, it's just little scribbles there. Yeah. Good policy is just make sure the whole painting's covered, right? While everything is feeling balanced. If you do have areas that are less finished, make sure they're set against areas that are more finished, and other areas that are less finished. You know, it's got to be balanced. And you don't really want it to seem unfinished. You want it to seem, you know, perfect. Yeah. Number 8. How are we doing on time? We're doing really well on time. This might be a half-hour talk. I don't want to get over-optimistic. This is a good chapter in my book. And then a lot of times I don't actually reread the chapter because I want to be fresh. You know, I want to be fresh. I want to communicate directly to you these ideas and insights, you know, pull them up out of the psyche, you know. And this is all from the new book I'm working on. I'm working on I've written it. I'm working on formatting it. My editor's still working on editing some of the text. And the idea behind each chapter was just to, this chapter was ways to fail at painting. I sat there and thought, how many ways can you fail? How many different ways? There's maybe more, but these are the main ones. And these are the things you want to address to make sure paintings are excellent. And thank you, assistant, for helping me couch this in such wonderful, positive terms. Yeah. Number 8. Balance the sky and the land. And you go, oh yeah, I know that's tough. Mike. Tell me, teach me, Mike. Well, first of all, if you think you're okay with some lame sky, you know, maybe in your photo reference it's white. That happens all the time. Or it's just plain blue. Oh, it just painted blue. I'm really interested in this tree and stuff. No. You need to have a sky that's interesting, but not overly interesting. You can't have it dominate the landscape. So like the one I just put on the channel is a really, really super colorful, involved sunset sky. And there's a lot of color in the landscape, but it's all kind of supporting the sky. It's more of I was saying in that video, or just reviewing it, I turned into a sky painting more than a landscape. In a sense, there's a good balance there. Yeah, and, that's what we're talking about on number 8 here. We want to balance that sky with the land. So if you want the sky to dominate, maybe you have the land take up about 1/3. You can look at the Dutch masters for that. They were very good at that. Yeah. You can have high horizons, low horizons. Obviously, a high horizon puts the emphasis on the land. A low horizon puts the emphasis on the sky. Yeah. A great sky is always important, but if these things are out of balance, they're one's got to kind of dominate a little bit more, especially in the realms of color and contrast. Usually, the landforms will have more should always have more contrast, more darkness, and the sky can have more color. Mm-hmm. Paintings that are mostly sky can definitely work. You could just have like an inch on the bottom of some sort of land or water, and the rest is all sky. I'm looking at one like that now. I went through a big phase of doing that. And it was a result of having all this, like I have a folder full of amazing sky references that I've taken and collected. And some were just so over the top that I could never actually use them in the landscape because they would dominate. So that was my strategy for that series of paintings. I called them skyscapes, and I just put a little bit of strip of land on the bottom and just go crazy painting the sky, and that was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, okay. Too little sky. That can be a problem. But I pull it off all the time myself. It's definitely a factor if you are, say, you know, these interior forest scenes I like to do where you're in a path and the light, you're headed out to the light. There'd be very small amounts of sky. I got my pinky out. If you have a minimal amount of sky, that kind of scene's not a problem. But some other ones, like high horizons, you need to just be a bit clever about things. You need to think about things. That's one of the reasons landscape painting is very challenging, is because there's so many different aspects and things that need to be balanced. It's a highly intellectual process. It's not something that it's just everything is just somehow wonderfully going to work out without you making some efforts. You need to make some effort. Just make sure the sky, with the sky land thing, just make sure they're balanced. That's the main thing. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely part of your composition strategy, and should be pretty well worked out in that drawing stage. Not the colors and things, obviously, but the proportions and the basic balance of light to dark should be in your head and worked out. Okay, number 9. Is that going the right way? I hope so. You got to place your horizon carefully, and especially in a scene where the horizon is obvious. If it's not that obvious, it's not as critical. It becomes very, very critical. I don't know if you've seen me painting coastals. I have lots of them on the channel. Quite often you'll see, if you see the reference, if you're in the studio Substack or you're in the YouTube members area, you're seeing all that reference all the time. And then sometimes on the YouTube channel, I'll show you too. But you'll see a lot of times that reference image is really high. And then I'll do the drawing and you'll see I lower it. And then sometimes I even lower it more. It's got to be sorted out. I'm not saying that it always needs to be lowered. What I'm saying is that you always have to think about the impact that's having. It's one of the strongest things. If you have a clear, distinct horizon in your painting, it is really having a huge impact on the composition. And you need to really look at it with a critical eye and make sure you're adjusting everything so that you have balance. Yeah. You can do the high horizon thing. That can be done very artfully. That's a real hallmark of some of the tonalists, like John Francis Murphy. Yeah, when the masters do it, they're often brilliant, right? I like my horizon somewhere in the middle. Now, one of the rules they say is don't put it in the exact middle, which I don't listen to that. I do that all the time, but if you are going to do that, you need to make sure everything else is balanced. You can't, because that creates a bit of an issue if it's not properly balanced. Yeah. Wow, that was everything I just said. It was right there on the paper. Isn't that good? That means I'm probably doing good. Horizon real low. Yeah, too low. That's a lot of sky. That's a problem. You know where that's a problem? Like on an 8x10. So I really struggled with that. Too much sky. Too much space between the trees and the top of the trees and the top of the picture. You know, too much sky there. There's a lot of ways that you can go wrong there, and you definitely want to consider it. Watch me struggle sometime. Also look at the masters, see what they do. And it's great to just talking about that drawing practice thing. This is something you can definitely just draw a little rectangle and do a little sketch after the master. Where did they put the horizon? Good one. 10. Maintain perspective awareness. Now, I don't love perspective. You didn't see me painting those cityscapes. I did teach myself perspective. I had to use it when I was a commercial illustrator. There's a lot of great tools now in the digital era to help assist us in that end. I don't love perspective. I really don't love drawing or painting things like cars, houses, man-made stuff at all. But you need to have an awareness of perspective always when you're talking about the landscape. And it can be organic. You've got a lot more leeway without a lot of man-made stuff. But that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want either. Yeah. Unless you say are like a Grandma Moses type, like one of these primitive type artists. And I don't know what to tell you. Good luck. Good luck with that. Okay. I don't do many buildings or houses. When I do, I like to keep them real simple. You'll always see it in the sky. That's why as your clouds get closer to the horizon, they should get smaller, longer, flatter. That's perspective. Roads, obviously, they're getting smaller as they recede into the distance. Trees, things like that. You have a lot more flexibility with pure landscape. I just told you that. Yeah. But you always want to have an awareness perspective, the impact it's having on your paintings. Okay, moving on. The master concept. Here's the master concept. Balance equals harmony, and harmony is tonalism. Every aspect of your painting influences every other aspect. The composition influences the value structure. The values are one of the initial ways that emotion is set up in the painting, which is then cemented with your approach to color. Then you have detail, brushwork, on and on it goes. But everything needs to be balanced against everything else. It's why it takes a lot of practice to get a good landscape painting, but it's very fulfilling. And when you do it, people love it. They do. And you know what? We're traipsing into the future. The AI is doing a lot of art, doing a lot of writing, heck, making videos like you wouldn't believe. Humans can make paintings. And yes, they'll have robots that can make paintings too. Who cares? Only you can make your paintings. And only you, and when we see your painting, we see your impression of reality. We see how it makes you feel. And we feel the corresponding echo inside ourselves. And that's incredibly powerful. I don't care what's going on in the future. I believe it will continue to be. Not just, actually, yeah, it's maybe a little bit of a lull now. I don't know. I don't really follow that. But to me, it's going to become increasingly important. Things like painting and all of the things that humans make, all of the artifacts we make, are going to become increasingly valuable as we traipse into the future, and the robots can do all the stuff we don't want to do. Painting is something I want to do. I will do it whether you paid me or not. Oh, yeah, no, I'm already over a half hour. I was getting cocky. Let's move on. Every aspect influences every other part. Large forms and shapes offset against each other. Colors complement and relate sympathetically to each other. Everything has an influence and effect on everything else. So learn to sensitize yourself to this balance. That's one of the major steps on your journey to mastery. Summary. Say we're doing all right with summarizing. Oh, I don't fool that. I need to read that. Number 1, master your composition. Number 2, get the color right. Number 3, understand color combinations. Number 4, develop confident brushwork. Find ways to do so without getting self-conscious. And if you go through a period of self-consciousness, that's okay. Work your way through it. We all have to work our way through that. Respect drawing fundamentals. Don't think you're going to be a masterful painter without getting some drawing under your belt. The odds are minimal, really minimal. Yeah. Know when to stop. That's a big byproduct of painting a lot, getting a lot of experience, because you'll start remembering, oh yeah, I felt that feeling, I should have stopped, I kept going and I ruined it. It was really good at that one point. And let me tell you, you really want to feel the pain, try videotaping everything you do, like I do, and you can see, no, Mike, no, don't, Mike, stop, man. He didn't stop, man, stop. He ruined it. He overworked it. 2015, 2016. A lot of that's on the channel. Story of my life. Especially when I was really getting involved with dry brushing. It's all in the new book. It's all going to be there. Which coming out next year. Definitely. Commit to that. I will. If I live. If I don't live, something. I'm hopefully. No. I'll try and stay alive and get that book out. Okay, finish what you start. Don't just I'm getting this is my I don't know how many students I've had. They got these big giant paintings they start and they never finish. I don't care if it's big. I don't care if it's little. Just finish it. Get it done. And if it's bad, throw it away. Scrape it off. Do another painting over the top. Whatever. But finish what you start. That's definitely a key to painting success. You cannot have successful paintings that are not finished. And don't overwork them. I think we talked about that already. Yeah, know when to stop. Yeah, that was the know when to stop because overworking kills your paintings. But conversely, you need to finish things. Both are true. Both are operative. Balance the sky and the land. Okay? That's a critical proportion decision. One of the most important decisions in your painting. Especially if the horizon is a visible one. It's important either way, but that's especially important. Place your horizon carefully. That really ties into balancing the sky and the land, but it's its own thing too. Yeah. And then maintain perspective awareness. Have a sense. You don't want don't put a big giant fluffy cloud right next to the horizon. That should be a little tiny cloud because you're getting that feeling of distance receding back. Yeah, all of these tie back to balance, which is the master concept here. Yeah, we're doing good. Closing, the value of knowing what to avoid. This list is not exhaustive. No, it isn't. Kind of off the top of my head, but it's based on my chapter. I couldn't think. These are the big ones. You get these sorted, and all your paintings are going to be a lot better. No question about it. Yeah. I could find more things wrong if I was looking at a lot of amateurish paintings, but these are the things to really. You don't want to get too pedantic. You say, "Oh, really, Mike? Is that true?" You don't. Hey. Don't get smart. Okay. I've done all of this. I've made all these mistakes. And many more. Some far more recently than I care to admit. But the best way to learn is by doing, by working, by failing. There's no better way to learn than by trying something out. And a lot of times, because of the processes involved in how we support ourselves as we're creating art, we may not always see those things that are wrong there in the moment. But if you keep painting, you keep working at it, what will happen is you'll start looking at your older things and go, oh yeah, that's not good, that's not good. That means you progress, and that's a good thing. Yeah. Being a good artist requires honesty, and I think I have a whole chapter in the new book called Self-Deception. So I'm not going to get into that now, which would be a talk. Every chapter, as long as I can, and keep going. I've got 200 something chapters there. Each one will be its own Easel Talk, and then who knows? We have a lot of Easel Talks. This is 13. Come on now, we can just keep going forever. I did that. Is that it? Oh, last page, guys. Yeah, so honesty is very important, both with yourself and with your audience, okay? Because there's nowhere to hide. We all know the truth of you by looking at your paintings. You cannot hide. Some people may be able to put it to voice, and others may not, but you can't hide with art. You can't. Why not a success list, Mike? Well, it kind of was couched that way, Mr. AI assistant. But, I've tried to hit a balance here. We're having fun. When you're succeeding, none of these things are bad. They're all great. Your color's great. Composition's great. Your brushwork's nice. The balance between the sky and the land is good. The color combinations are pleasing and effective. Your perspective looks nice. Everything's going good. So whenever all these things are going well, your painting's looking good and you're golden. And now you could do that in one painting, and then the next painting you might find a spot where you fall, and that's okay, because it's not easy. So who cares? It's no sin to fail at something that's not easy. Yeah. Final thought. The struggle's real. And that's good. That's a good thing. We were put here to struggle. We were put here to do things. We were put here to create and express ourselves. That's my honest belief. Now, I don't really know who put us here. I don't really know. I think the reason why is just to be and to create and do things. And a life without some meaningful work is a lot less meaningful. So, success comes from awareness of the pitfalls I've outlined, honesty with yourself about where you're at and where you can improve. Success comes from doing a lot of paintings. In fact, I was getting a bit of ribbing from one of my assistants. It's like, I could have just made the world's shortest painting book called Do a Lot of Paintings, but I've decided to do a 4-volume series enumerating every different aspect of painting. And this really this was kind of an overview sort of chapter and an overview sort of talk, and I think pretty valuable. I hope you're getting some value. We better wrap it up. Yeah, you just keep picking away at it, carving away at it, making your progress, but it's totally worth it. Because when you succeed, even partially, you feel good. You know you do. You wouldn't be hooked otherwise. You're hooked. You need that stuff, man. I gotta paint. Okay. How can you support Uncle Mike? He's trying to teach you. Buy the book. I do a little bit. It's nice. I want that book all over the world. And one day I hope to get a real publisher too, But meanwhile, I don't worry about that. We've got 200 that we've shipped nearly. I'm like 5 away. And then I've sold another 25, 50 out here. So we're doing great. That's awesome. You could get the book. I think the Substack Studio Pass is my favorite way for you to support me, because I put a lot of work and effort into those transcriptions, making sure the reference is there. There's always a picture of the palette. I'm very consistent too. I don't leave you hanging. When I say I'm going to have a video out, I got the video out, and we're very regular with that. So, that's a great way to support me. Donations. Some people have actually gone to my Squarespace website, clicked on the donation button, and sent me thousands of dollars. Okay? And that would be great. I would love that, because there's some equipment I'd love to get to just keep improving all this, But hey, no pressure. Do what you can. At the very least, you could click that like button. Come on, it's got a little thumbs up thing. You ever seen one of those? You click on it, and then YouTube says, hey, people like this video. Maybe we should show this to other people. Yeah. So that's it. But you know what? You've supported me already by getting this far, and I really appreciate you. And I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're getting some good painting done. And I hope I gave you some valuable insights into how to do even more, better paintings that are gooder. Okay? So, till my next Easel Talk, Easel Talk 14. This was Easel Talk 13. Take good care of yourself and everyone around you that you care about. And stay out of trouble and fight your power.
Did you know you could buy the book? Landscapepainter.co.nz. The book cost $65 US. you know